I'm Edward, founder of Littledata, and I've spent the last 3 months researching how ChatGPT links to brands and how you can be better discovered in AI search. So I want to look at some of our coffee customers here in the UK and illustrate what they're doing well or not so well on their sites to encourage links from the AI search. And I'm going to show how search is changing from Google search to AI mode, but also within ChatGPT. And also how you as a brand can practically use some of these examples to improve your product detail pages to capture more of that traffic. So I think what I would have done previously is look for a very broad search like this, best coffee beans. And Google's already contextualizing this to my location. So you can see that two of our clients, Volcano Coffee Works and Grind, are already appearing in the ads. In the shopping ads over here, again, Grind's appearing there. And then we look down to the organic results here. We've got a typical mix of some review sites, Good Food Magazine, some Marketplace, Coffee Direct, and then a few other brands like Rave and Mountain Coffee. So what's changing? Well, I think let's first of all look at kind of how do people search for coffee. So this is looking at in Ahrefs for the term coffee beans and what are the sort of modifiers people are using. So I think people are either searching for a particular brand of coffee. You can see Rave Coffee appears on here, 200 degrees. And if we scroll a bit further down, Nespresso, and we'll also find Grind on here. They specifically come under Shoreditch Grind, so that was the name of their original shop. So you either search for a brand or you search for a variety, ground coffee, filter coffee. Those are all ones that come up. You might search for a quality of coffee. We've got organic coffee coming up here, decaf coffee, specialty coffee. What else have we got? Coffee granules, Lidl coffee, flavored coffee. So that's some of the other modifiers. But you can see typically it's about variety, it's about flavor, or it's about a particular brand. Now, let's go a bit further. What are some of the things people are searching around the topic? So this is the Ahrefs report of matching terms. So best is one of the modifiers people are using. UK, local source, buy, obviously, decaf, and maybe even the volume of the coffee, the 1 kilo bags. Okay, so let's see. First of all, how does Grind do on those? So this is the typical PDP of Grind coffee. This is their 1 kilo bag of bean and ground coffee. Pretty good looking PDP, very well branded, obviously with their pink coloring. And this is one page where you can choose the size of the bag, the grind, the roast, and indeed the tin that it comes in. So it's sort of all there on the page, and that makes it nice and easy navigable. It's also got some details here about about the sourcing, about the ethicalness. This is not specific for the product here, just generally for the brand. And some pretty good ones about the blend, although I do worry that because it's sort of condensing all these different blends, decaf, lighthouse, etc., in one page, it's not going to be able to find those, or the AI search is not going to be able to find those individual products. And I validated that by just doing a very quick Google search for Grind decaf. So if we look over here, you'll see that if I search for Grind decaf coffee, there is a page, pages decaf. Unfortunately, the page is somewhat broken. So they've got a sort of SEO landing page. They just haven't got any decaffeinated coffee pods listed on it. So there's a bit of a miss there in terms of appealing for that. But I think certainly the problem is that's not seeing the decaf or the house blend or the dark edition as a particular variety. And that's a problem because it's one of the key modifiers people might use. So how does that search here? We looked at best coffee beans as being a very short term. That's a very classic Google search, 3 or 4 keywords. How would that change ChatGPT? So this is my search. So I looked at, I want to buy coffee beans to grind for Turkish coffee. So type of making it. I like medium roast chocolatey coffee, describing the flavor. I want ethically sourced from a single origin, maybe Kenya. What do you recommend? So again, very typical ChatGPT search there, 20 to 30 words. And what's it coming up with? Well, interestingly, not Grind is the answer. 2 UK brands, Divine Coffee and Rosie and Java. And it also, if I scroll down here, recommends this Kenya Peaberry from TradeMade. So, what's TradeMade doing right to get on there? Well, if we look at their site, it's fairly basic as PDP goes. They've taken a very sort of minimalistic approach to the design, image, black. They have described the origin and the notes, so you can see clearly here why it's, if I'm searching for chocolatey Kenya coffee, while that's appearing. And they've got enough description here about the flavor, aroma, single origin, etc., I think, to appear as relevant. And then obviously some others. I think they're missing a big trick here with reviews and also just a lack of description about the brand ethics and so on. So yes, I think they've appeared in this search. I don't think they necessarily appear in a huge volume of searches because it's quite minimal, the page. Again, if we look at the other products on their Divine Coffee that was recommended, again, a fairly stripped down Shopify PDP. You've got some description about, again, origin, style, flavors. I'm sure we'll see the words chocolate on there somewhere. I like they do go into a lot about the origin, which is obviously very convincing. Again, ChatGPT is looking for authenticity here. But they do have reviews, but again, I think they could have more detail about the product and the brand. Look, let's go back to the grind page. There's lots to like about this page. As I said, I think they are doing a lot to convince the customer, but I think from a pure like AI content perspective, they're missing a few basic points. So let's go back to our ChatGPT search, and I'll compare it with another brand that I think is getting better on this score. By the way, as an aside, Littledata has worked with Grind for a long time. We have a great case study about how our data and the reports from that data help them really scale their brand when they move to subscriptions. Okay, so go back to my ChatGPT search. That's great. But what I did is I then, again, it's a chat interface, isn't it? So I've added a modifier. Okay, but what about a decaf version? And it doesn't have to be Kenyan. So I actually only drink decaf coffee, so I forgot when searching. This is a pretty big criteria for me. Now, here it gets interesting, because when we look at the expert backing and the industry picks, it's going for this brand Counterculture, and again, recommending two places, Serious Eats and Food and Wine Magazine. So seems great. Why didn't it actually link me to Counterculture? Well, it's about availability. So if I go and look at Counterculture's page, this is their PDP. They have the coffee, slow motion decaf, sounds great, but you see the availability is clearly not for the UK. It's in dollars, the sizing is in ounces, and if I go through the checkout, it's going to tell me that they are not available. Now, I'm actually going to refresh this page to show you a bit of a no-no here as well, which is that they don't get this subscribe and save right. So when I first land on the page, it actually defaults to subscribe and save, and I couldn't actually select one-time purchase, which is another bit of a problem. But again, the main reason why it's not recommending Counterculture is availability. There's no local site for the UK. There's no shipping in the UK. So their loss. What else does it recommend? Well, from the community, it's recommending Rave, Pack, Mission Coffee, Union. Remember, these were all UK-based suppliers that appeared in my search. So that's interesting that they haven't linked to those. But when in terms of the strong UK products that match your criteria, it's recommending Origin Coffee. Now, Origin, another client of Littledata, they've been a great, successful brand, again, on subscriptions. So let's go and have a look about why they're being recommended. Their Atlas Decaf, again, it's quite a minimal PDP, but good copy. Lots of really, I love these sections. Lots of stuff about story, provenance, transparency, brewing. These are all the kind of details that someone who really cared about their coffee origination might care about. Exactly how it's brewed, exactly where it's from, exactly how it's sourced. They have a general overview of the taste, which I love. They have some great videos from the community, so how people have actually brewed it and made the perfect flat white. They've got some stuff about the brand, their commitment to excellence and sustainability. Again, there's stuff about how they pick the coffee. And so I think this is all great, the origin difference. And then finally, and what they're doing differently to Grind is embedding the reviews on the page. So they obviously very highly rated coffee, 96% would recommend this product. So that's fantastic. But in terms of the ChatGPT being able to crawl the page, lots of descriptions here. Wouldn't know it's decaf, lovely decaf, great beans always from origin. We use these coffee beans to cut to the cup machine, makes delicious coffee. So I think the brilliant thing about user reviews is ChatGPT trusts these. And so if the user is talking about how they have made coffee or how they have made great coffee with this product, it's going to get a lot more recommendation. So lots of good stuff. What does it do that Grind doesn't? Well, a couple of things. Grind, you'll see, is missing, although it does have some great FAQs, which I love, it is missing the reviews. So it has a reviews link up here to Trustpilot. You see it's excellent. But again, from a kind of crawling point of view, there's no actual review content on the page. And then again, from a sort of sourcing point of view, it's talking in a generic way about how it's ethically sourced and ethically roasted, but not specifically about where this coffee comes from. And then finally, and I think this is a basic problem with information architecture, their PDP is for a 1 kilo bag of coffee. Now, some people do search for the size of bag, but I would say those people are in a minority. Most people are searching for the style or the flavor, the roast level. And so I think an information hierarchy where you choose the bag size first and then the blends seems off compared with, for example, Atlas, where what you're going to do is choose obviously the type of coffee first and then the bag size. So I want to have my single origin coffee or my decaf coffee, and then my Atlas decaf, and then you're choosing the size. I think that's the right way to think about products and variants. The product is the blend or the roast. The variant is the size or the packaging. One interesting thing that Origin also does well, I think, is to actually split out subscriptions. So you'll see here that as opposed to Counterculture we looked at, where subscriptions were very much pushed at me from the PDP, they are letting people choose that they want a decaf coffee subscription. So it does seem to me that there is a different kind of buyer. Certainly, I think most brands, like for coffee brands, people are not going to commit to a subscription without having tasted the product first. They're likely to buy it, run off a few times first, and then come back for a subscription. So I personally like the fact that they're both using Recharge to power those subscriptions. It's just in the way they're managing the products, they list the subscription product as a separate thing on their storefront, a separate thing you can choose in the PLP. So I think there's lots to unpack there. I do think the key point is this is only one kind of search, right? I went very deep on this particular thing. I want decaf, particular blend, sourcing. Someone else might have different preferences, but I think your chance of capturing a wide volume of AI search, and that's what it would search is fragmenting into lots of personalized search experiences. You need to cover as many bases as you can on those pages about where it's from, how it's made, and how you might use it. And I think that both brands, frankly, could go further in terms of having deeper landing pages around those topics. So again, to go back to the kind of keyword optimizing for some of these deeper cases. Now, there's one other trick that we've found with Littledata that I think can also work brilliantly in these sort of niches, and that is competitor comparison pages. So you'll see here that the obvious point is that some of the big monophrases are people searching for other brands. So if I was Grind Coffee and I was trying to capture traffic from Raid Coffee, or obviously have a good organic search volume, how might I do that? So I'm just going to put in a direct sort of comparison question here. So what's the best ground coffee, rave or grind? Here we go. Immediately it brings in Trustpilot feedback. Interesting, because they both do that. They've got both got very solid ratings. Chatter backs up. Interestingly, some complaints exist. So verdict. Rave is a stronger pick, especially with decaf in mind. So again, context here. I've already told it what I liked. So although I'm comparing these two brands, it's thinking about that in the context of what I said I like about it. I've already said that ethical sourcing was a thing. Then it thinks that maybe I might be interested in sustainability, convenience. Grind is solid. There you go. So now Okay, here's the thing. Where is it pulling this stuff from? So you'll see, honestly, Trustpilot, honest brand reviews, but it's not pulling it directly from the brand site. So I think in a lot of cases that the opportunity missed is to have some direct competitor landing pages or alternative pages on your own site. So what I would recommend for any brand is that if they have a competitor with a strong brand, maybe offering a very similar style of coffee, they have a very straight up direct comparison page of like rave versus grind, and list out all the things that are the same or different. Yes, we both do single origin sourcing from Kenya, but ours is in sustainable packaging and theirs isn't. Or yes, we both do medium roast coffee for Nespresso pods, but ours are more convenient to use and come in the right format. Or these sort of comparisons. And I think, the consumers are increasingly doing those, making those comparisons, asking ChatGPT which is better. And you want to own that search. You want to own that click, because if you give that click to a third party, then what's happening is that third party gets to sell your coffee. So honest brand reviews here getting quoted, and the honest point here is that they then choose where to send the click, send it to Amazon, send it to your competitors. So if you can capture that click from the ChatGPT search, then you get the opportunity to sell to the customer. Okay, well, that's, I think, a pretty good dive into the coffee world. So to summarize, in all areas, search is changing from short keyword phrases, 3 or 4, to long keyword phrases, 20 to 30. That means that if you want to be relevant and like grind and origin, stay on top of it, you have to be able to add as many topics to your landing page as possible. And I'll give you an example of this from, this is another tool from Ahrefs about the AI content helper. So this is looking at Grind's PDP and what they recommend adding to it. And you can see here the topics, all about the obvious ones that you might modify, talking about how to brew and prepare the coffee, talking about the kind of buying options, coarse ground, whole beans, etc. Talking about the different roasts and flavoring, talking about the ethical and sustainable practices, and talking about the freshness and packaging. And then finally talking about the kind of geography of the sourcing, the country, the region, the variety of coffee. Now, as I said, the page here, Grind's page, does a fairly good job in terms of talking about the different places. But I think what it's not doing is having enough different individual PDP landing pages talking about the different blends and the different varieties. So I think, it is challenging to rank for AI. It is about the landing page content, but it's also very much importantly about the external content linking to it. So you can't put lipstick on a pig, and you certainly can't convince AI to recommend your product if other people are not also recommending your product. But what you can do if you have a strong brand, you have strong external recommendations, is just to make it easy for ChatGPT to link to you by having those questions answered on your page. I hope you found that helpful. Do subscribe to our channel for more of these videos, and please try and put some of this into action so that you can capture more traffic from ChatGPT.